Fun, fun, fun in the sun, sun, sun. Dun 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 dun. Hello, everybody, and welcome again to another Monday webcam, WWS, or as we call it, the weekly webcam series. Today, we've got two more episodes of that awesome British sci-fi comedy drama series, Red Dwarf, followed by two more episodes. Yes, you did recommend and ask me to start doing two episodes at a time with TOS, but I won't, as I say, on those TOS ones because I have way so much information. I won't go too much into. But anyway, um, I'm so glad to see all of you here today. When you do appear, I really enjoy it when you're in the chat there. We talk about other things, but in the meantime, there is some good news and bad news. The good news is there are three more episodes left of Red Dwarf to talk about. That's going to be next week. We're going to be covering the final two episodes from season 12, and then we're going to cover the one and only so far that they've posted in the IMDb background information, which is season 13, episode 0. That will be the final one. Now, as far as I know, there is no Red Dwarf movie out there. There are a few what they call smeg ups, which is another slang, British slang for, mess ups and bloopers, things like that. Those are now available on YouTube. I think season 7's got a few. I think season 11's got a few. So make sure you go out there, look for them on your streaming services, not just YouTube, but check out other streaming services. I do believe BBC One, which is Thames, I believe they do have a lot of Red Dwarf there, so you might want to check that out as well. So, anyway, again, welcome everybody, and today we've got season 12, episodes 3 and 4 from Red Dwarf, and then of course we've got from TOS, we're doing mostly information from season 2, because we're on season 2 right now, but we're doing episode 4 and episode 5, which are respectively Mirror Mirror, which is one of my all-time favorites. It got an automatic A plus from me the first time I saw it. Still love it. It is still awesome. And we will soon, next year, we will look at Star Trek Continues, which is Vic Minona's channel. And that one does show a sequel to Mirror Mirror, which is called The Fairest of Them All. And in that episode, we go to the Terran Empire part of that. We go back, but this time, the evil Kirk and Uhura and Scotty, you know, and they all come back. They all go back there, yeah, and McCoy. So all of them go back. The evil ones do, and it's from that perspective of what's happening with the Hulk and Empire and everything else like that. So that's gonna be next year, right? So yeah, make sure you folks are keeping track of what we're discussing, talking about here, and then next week, yeah, on Red Dwarf, we're going to, like I say, cover the very last final episodes that have been listed so far, which are episode 5 and 6 from season 12, and episode 13, the only episode listed from that show. So next week will be 3 episodes that we'll be covering, and that will be it. That'll be done for Red Dwarf. So now, excuse me. Now, what I've seen so far from what I'm gathering from Red Dwarf is they, right now in 2025, the presumptive information is that they are working on the 14th season, but they haven't really got around to either finishing it yet, or they just haven't got around to providing information in there, because I didn't see anything. But apparently there should be season 14. Now here's what's going to happen. When I finish the last 3 episodes of next week, I'm going to leave that on the back burner. And then if, for whatever reason, a season 14 comes about either this year or next year, and I will ask in a poll if you guys want me to continue with the series, if it continues itself, And then I'll let you folks know what the final results of that poll will be. It'll probably be a 1 month poll that I'll allow for you folks to vote and to let me know if I should continue talking about Red Dwarf. But yeah, but next week will be the final 3 episodes of that. Now, when that's done, then Mondays will only be TOS Mondays because then we'll be doing 2 episodes of TOS for the rest of the time until we get through to the very end of season 3. So, yeah. And then next year, I can ask you folks in a poll, would you like me to start, because we'll go back to Star Trek, but I want you to, I want you folks to let me know. Should I just go on with TAS, which, it only had 22 episodes of the animated series, or I could go backwards, just start with Enterprise, with Scott Bakula and stuff. That did last for 5 seasons. Or was it 4 seasons? No, it was 4 seasons, I think it was. But anyway, so we could go back to that. And then, of course, we could skip, or no, not skip, but just move on to TAS after that. Or, what we could do? I just thought of this. What we could do is do both Enterprise and TAS, so we'll stay caught up. And then we'll just go on to TNG and, and stuff. We'll do 2 episodes of that every week and whatever. But that's going to be next week. Or, next month. Not next month. What did I say? Let's reverse. Okay, next year is when we plan on doing that. But for the rest of this year, after we're done with these 4 shows I've been doing, then we're going to get into mysteries. And from there on, it's all going to be so much fun. We're going to be talking about controversial disappearances in national parks. We'll be talking about aliens. We'll be talking about the Phoenix Lights from 1997. What a great time that was. And I was there. So I know what I saw and I know what it wasn't. And of course, I'll talk with Larry about that because I know he was there. We were both in Arizona at the time. And we'll talk with PvP about the Lake Okanagan, monster. I hope I said that right, PvP, which is in British Columbia. And we'll also talk about, Daniel and I will talk about the Greys and Majestic 12 and the Blues, because there's Greys and Blue aliens out there that are hiding among us. At least a lot of people have said so. And Majestic 12, there's an elite group of 12 people that choose the course and define the rest of what's going to happen in the world for the future. So yeah, and they've always been replaced. There was an initial 12, but now they've always been replaced. We know this to be true. Okay, well, since I don't see anybody, but I'm sure when you folks arrive in the chat, I will address it. So I'm just going to continue with, like I said, episode 3 and episode 4 from season 12 of Red Dwarf. And episode 3, the name of it is Timewave. And then episode 4 is called Mechocracy. Yeah, Mechocracy. Yeah. Okay, so Timewave came out Thursday, October 26th of 2017. It's described as a time phenomenon ripples through time, revealing a ship heading straight into the path of an oncoming gas moon. The crew venture on board, but the ship's unorthodox anti-criticism law proves hard to handle. Okay? And then in Mechocracy, which came out Thursday, November 2nd of 2017, episode 4, when all the machines on Red Dwarf go on strike, the boys compete in an election against each other to gain control of them. Very cool. All right. So the first episode we're looking at, Timewave, got a 6.4 out of 10 from 481 people. I agree with that. I gave it a C. Yeah, I just gave it a straight up C. And same thing for Mechocracy. That had 7.4 out of 10. Average grade, 443 people voted on that. So I would say, yeah, the quality of these episodes are going way down. So it looks to me like everything else from here is probably a C grade. Yeah, which is a shame because 12 seasons up to this point, and they were actually pretty decent. So okay, so let me get through some of this. All right, so on Timewave, Doug Naylor was the director, part of that writing team, Rob Grant, Doug Naylor. And of course, it featured, the usual characters: Chris Berry as Rimmer, Craig Charles as Lister, Danny John Jules as the cat, and Robert Llewellyn as Crichton. And in this one, we're going to look at two people. One person is Johnny Vegas. He is the crit cop. And then there is a female in it. Her name is Amrita Acharla, and she played waitress Greta. So we're going to take a look at one male actor and one female actress for the episode. Okay. So let's take a look at trivia. Okay. All right. It says here that Ziggy's costume is the same one that was worn by Volva, who was played by David Williams. I'm sure it's Williams, but David Williams, the performance artist in Art from 1999. During the scene where the crew are in jail, there is a bunk bed amongst the single beds. Rimmer is seen lying on the bottom bunk, and Lister climbs onto the top bunk, echoing their sharing the bunks in their crew quarters on Red Dwarf. Crichton makes fun of Rimmer, asking why he collects Napoleonic soldiers, and suggesting that when one of the toy soldiers saves the crew, Crichton will eat his crevice brush. In Season 3, Episode 2, Marooned, it's revealed that Rimmer collects models of Napoleonic soldiers, and while he and Lister are stuck on a frozen moon, Rimmer eventually offers to burn them to warm Lister and save his life. This episode was released online a week early as part of the Dave Channel's UK TV Play service. The episode could be streamed online from the 19th of October. Well, very cool. Alrighty, let's take a look at goofs. Okay, it looks like there's just one continuity goof in this episode. In the first canteen scene, after the cat tells the guitar player in the background to stop playing, he alternates between being sat down talking and stood up still playing. Oh, cool. All right. And then, of course, as you all know, the Red Dwarf theme, which is still written by Howard Goodall and performed by the wonderful Jen Russell, who is still alive, by the way. So that's very cool. Alrighty. And no filming and production on Timewave. All right, so we're done with that episode. Now we'll take a look at the cast and crew. And like I said, we will look at one gentleman named Johnny Vegas, who plays the crit cop. And then there is Amrita Acharla, who plays waitress Greta. So we'll take a look at Johnny first. Okay. All right, Johnny Vegas is an actor, producer, and writer. That's his actual name. I did not make that up. Okay. He was born on the infamous 9/11 day, September 11th, 1971, same day of birth as my brother. So it means that Johnny Vegas is actually 4 years younger than my brother Philip. He was born in St. Helens, Merseyside, England. He is an actor and producer known for Bleak House in 2005, Benidorm in 2007, and The Libertine in 2004. He's been married to Maya Dunphy since March of 2011. They have one child. He was previously married to Catherine Kitty Donnelly, Kitty being her pet name. Yeah, so he is going to be the age of, let's see here. Yeah, he'll be the age of 54 soon. My brother's turning, is going to be turning 58 soon. So, yeah, very cool. All right. So, Bleak House and Benidorm were both TV miniseries there. Well, Bleak House was a British TV miniseries, he played the role of Crook, Krook. He played in 6 episodes of that in 2005. In Benidorm, which is a regular TV series, he was on there for 34 episodes as Jeff Maltby. And that's from 2007 to 2017. Before that, in 2001 to 2003, he was in a TV series called Happiness, and he played Charlie Doyle in that for 12 episodes. And then, of course, in The Libertine, which is a movie from 2004, he played Sackville in that movie. Cool. All right. And he does host a TV series right now called Johnny Vegas's Little Shop of Antiques. Cool. So that's on British TV right now on the BBC. And let's see. It looks like in development, he's got something called Untitled Ideal Film, and he plays Moz. The Beast of Riverside Hollow is in production. He'll be playing Greg. Wombi movie. He'll be playing Hero, or Giro, Hero, post production. And there is a new animated show that just completed called The Twits. And he is Mr. Twit. He uses the voice, or he uses his voice in that. That just got completed this year. So should be coming out pretty soon. All right, so that is Johnny Vegas. Really cool. I mean, somebody I can relate to that's actually a few years younger than my brother. And just as funny. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's take a look at Amrita Acharla. All right. Wow, she's pretty good looking gal there. She's a brunette. That's awesome. She's an actress, director, and writer. And she is of Nepalese Ukrainian heritage. Wow, Nepal and Ukraine. Wow. She grew up in Ukraine, Kathmandu, and England before moving with her family to Norway at age 13. After completing high school in Tromsø, Amrita moved to England to pursue her acting career. Since then, she has worked in Norway, London, and the United States. She speaks fluent Ukrainian, Norwegian, and English. She was born July 31st, so she just had a birthday, but we don't know what year she was born, because you know that. They keep those things hidden. So, oh, but it does say recently she worked in something called The Serpent Queen from 2022 to 2024, whatever that is. I'll have to take a look at that. All right, let's see here. Okay, so The Serpent Queen is a TV series. She has, since last year, she's been in 16 episodes of that, where she plays the role of Abyss. In Game of Thrones, she was in that series. Yes, she was. She played Eerie. I'm sorry, Eerie. You see, my eyesight is going away. But she was in 13 episodes of Game of Thrones as Eerie, Irri, from 2011 to 2012. She's also been in a TV miniseries back in 2020 called The Sister, where she played a role of Holly Fox. And then in the movie I Am Yours from 2013, she played the role of Mina, Mina. Sweet. All right. And so far, currently, she's been in a TV series from last year, one episode called Vandervalk. And in that, she's Inga Palmberg. That is her character on that. So very cool. Yeah. All right. So that was Amrita Acharya. I said Acharla, but I'm sorry. It was Acharya. Acharia. I wanted to correct that. So Acharya. Okay, so Amrita. Wow, yeah, she looks great. And I did recognize her from Game of Thrones, so that's very cool. Yeah. It's too bad she didn't do a lot of episodes of that. Alrighty. Okay, so. All right, let's move on to our next episode. Information here. Mechocracy. All right. And let's see here. All right, and this was also directed by Doug Naylor of Grant and Naylor. And let's see, usual characters. Okay, it looks like the one person we're going to take a look at is Oliver Maltman. I'm not making these names up, folks. This is exactly what it says. He was the other dispensing machine voice. So we'll take a look at Oliver Maltman on this. Okay. And before we do have one person in the chat so far. Hey, thank you, Jeff B. Hail, Mikey and Suze. Welcome, Jeff B. My friend, thank you so much for appearing and being here today. It means the world to us. Like I said, sometimes if we get one person, that's fine. I mean, it means all the world to us. It means that we do still have people that love us and support us, and we know you all can't be there because I know most of you do work hard, and to make ends meet nowadays it's really difficult in this world, but you're doing a great job doing what you do. Keep doing it. Don't give up on it. Just keep working hard, making that money, saving that money, so that you have a nest egg and something to fall back on when you're finally done and retired. Yeah, don't make the mistakes I made, because I never really put a nest egg together for myself. But I'm only 60, right? I turned 60 next month. But Suzanne is really good, my wife, at doing that. She's great at finances. So we'll be all right. The two of us will be all right when we're done. So speaking of a beautiful wife, she's coming home. I'm still on my show, baby. You don't need anything, do you? All right. I love you. I'm glad you're home safe, babe. Yep, Jeff B was first come in today. He says hello. All right, awesome. Well, thank you, Jeff B. I appreciate that, sir. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at Mechocracy and see what we got there. Okay. All right. So this is the first time in the entire series where the cat says Lister's first name. It is also the first time he calls Rimmer Rimsey. Wow. Yeah. Dave Lister. And Rimmer actually technically died at least 3 times. The third time being in Out of Time. Although the other crew members don't know that, it was when he was risking his life to bring them back when they were killed by their future selves. And the episode was released online a week early as part of the Dave Channel's UK TV Play service. The episode could be streamed online from the 27th of October. Okay, now there are 3 spoilers in this episode. So if you're really into the episode and you haven't seen it, or if you want to see the episode and haven't got a chance yet, go ahead and put your hands over your ears so I can read these 3 quick spoilers, and then when I'm done, I'll just let you know. Go ahead and take your hands away. Okay. All right, here's the first spoiler. Talkie Toaster returns for the first time in 26 years, with Dave Ross returning to do the voice. The actor who provided the voice of Talkie Toaster, Dave Ross, is also the actor who originally played Crichton before Robert Llewellyn took over the role. And Talkie Toaster, again, like I said, he makes a surprise return. Voiced yet again by Dave Ross. People love that spoiler. Okay, take your hands away from your ears, folks. Okay, let's take a look at the soundtrack. Yep, still the same thing. Red Dwarf theme. And no filming and production revealed on this one. Okay. Like I said, now we'll take a look at the one person from this episode we'd like to look at. Oliver Maltman. See what we got him for. All right. And you know what? We'll also take a look at David Ross, since he returned as Talkie Toaster. See if we got any current information on him. Okay. All right. So Maltman is actor, writer, and producer. He was born on January 19th, 1976 in London, England. So he just recently celebrated his 49th birthday. Cool. So he turns 50 next year. And like I said, he's an actor and writer known for Another Year in 2010, Happy Go Lucky in 2008, and Maleficent in 2014. Oh, that's awesome. That's the one with Angelina Jolie, I believe. That's so cool. He was also in a series called Back from 2017 to 2021. See if we have that in here. Okay, we don't. But let's see. Okay, in the movie Another Year in 2010, he played Joe. In Happy Go Lucky, he in 2008 he played Jamie. In a movie called Mr. Turner, he was one of the theater actors in that in 2014. And finally, in Maleficent, with, like I said, the awesome Angelina Jolie. I think she did a great job in that. In 2014, he plays the advisor to King Henry. Awesome. Yeah, I like that. All right. So lately, this year, he was in the movie or a documentary called Words of War, where he was Nestor, or it's a movie short. And then what's coming up in post production right now is something called The Fall of Sir Douglas Weatherford, and in that he plays the role of Stephen. So very cool. Yes. So Mr. Oliver Maltman. All right. Now we'll take another look here at David Ross, Talkie Toaster. All right. David Ross is solely an actor. He did work on Oliver Twist in 1999. He's a British actor from Blackburn, Lancashire. You know, 4,000 Holes in Blackburn, Lancashire. You got the Beatles reference here, a genius. He's most known for his work in television series where he has enjoyed a lengthy career. He has also appeared on stage productions and films. And David Ross' most famous role was that of Crichton during his first appearance on comedy series Red Dwarf back in 1988, and he was also the one who provided the voice for the Talkie Toaster in the same show. On the same show, as a stage actor, David Ross is known for his parts in the play Having a Ball alongside Maggie Dents and Jackie Weaver. He also his very first role was a small part in the drama Dixon of Dock Green in 1955. Oh, interesting. And he began acting with the Harrogate Repertory Company at age 17, and he trained at Manchester Polytechnic before joining Manchester Contact Theatre in the mid 1960s. That's so cool. All right. And let's see. Okay. He was on the TV series The Green Grass. He played Elgin from 2005 to 2009 in 31 episodes. Way back in 1995, he was in a TV miniseries called Jake's Progress, and in that, he was in 6 episodes. Then, in something called GBH, a TV miniseries from 1991, he was in 6 episodes of that. He was Mr. Weller. And then he was in Leave It to Charlie, which was a TV series back in 1978 to 1980. He was in 18 episodes of that as Harry Hutchins. Okay. So, as I said, the 3 episodes he did of Red Dwarf again is season 2, episode 1. He was Crichton. In season 4, episode 4, it was called White Hole, where he was the Talkie Toaster voice. And then again, like I said, here in Mechocracy, he came back as the Talkie Toaster voice, season 12, episode 4. So those were his 3 appearances. That's all he's done. That was it. That was his latest thing that he did so far. So that is the mini bio of David Ross. Okay. All right, and let's see here. Red Dwarfish. All right. All right, folks. So let's go over the final 3 episodes that we're going to be covering next week. So, all right. Oops, I'm sorry. Went a little too far there. There we go. All right, so episodes from season 12. All right. So the final two episodes we're going to be doing from season 12, which are episodes 5 and 6, they are M Core, and then there is Skipper. Okay. And then the last one, which is season 13, episode 0, it's called The Promised Land. Those will be the final three. Now, like I said, season 14, episode 1, nothing's been added yet. There's no plot, no information, but it's supposed to be actually being made right now in 2025. That's the rumor. I don't know much more than that. So if there is something going on there, as I said, I'll pick it up at a later date. If it does go to to a season 14, okay? Just so you know. So those are the last three. All right, so let's get to TOS. Now, here is something I'm going to do from now on. And I hope you don't mind, but this is something I want to cut time a little bit. What I'm going to do is, like I said, when it comes to trivia, I'm going to cover only the most important things that it shows because I really don't want to go into everything about it. Okay? Because I would like you folks to go ahead, check it out on the streaming services, Paramount Plus and things like that. So I would want you to do that first. But the other thing I don't plan on doing now, at least for TOS, is talking about goofs because it seems lately there have been a lot of goofs on these episodes, and I really don't like to ruin the episode, especially if you're wanting to see it and you don't want to know what mistakes they made, do you? You just would want to be uh, content with the fact that you do know a few facts about the episode and the background and what happened. And if there's crazy credits, I will mention them. I don't, as I said, I don't do quotes anymore because, my voice is not very good, so I can't really do voices and stuff much anymore. But as I said, so I'm going to forego the goofs and the quotes, at least for TOS, because I want to get through these episodes a lot more, a lot faster. Now, if you think that takes away from what I say, let me know, okay, in the comments, from the show when we're done today. So, but in the meantime, I just, like I said, because now I'm going to be doing 2 episodes of TOS, I just want to get to the nitty gritty, which is the trivia and whatever else is covered by it. And if they have outside locations, like production locations or filming, I want to cover that too. So, yeah. All right, so let's look at season 2, episode 4 and 5. Of course, the first one here is Mirror Mirror, and that's where the transporter accident places Captain Kirk's landing party in an alternate universe where the Enterprise is in the service of a barbarically brutal empire. Now try to say that 3 times fast. Barbarically brutal empire. This episode did get a 9.0 out of 10 from over 5,600 people. Yes, it is one of my A grade episodes. I love it, and we've already done it. My friend PvP, Pleasant Valley Picker, and I, and our friend Sci-Fi Sifdan, we did cover this episode in a previous live stream. So make sure you guys check that out on Sifdan's channel. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Okay, and then the other episode from season 2 is episode 5, The Apple, and primitive inhabitants of Gamma Trianguli 6 worship a god who orders them to kill visitors from the Enterprise. And that got a 6.4 out of 10 from over 3,800 people. And the first episode premiered Friday, October 6th, 1967. And then the second one premiered Friday, October 13th, 1967. The Apple, yeah, 6.4 out of 10. I agree with that. It's a very low C for me. Yes. So a C minus, I would say on that. But Mirror Mirror, A plus all the way. Love that that episode. Like I said, it leads later on to Star Trek Continues with Vic Mignogna, and that's of just the one season they did, 11 episodes. That would be episode 3, and it's called The Fairest of Them All. Yeah, it's a great one. Okay, so let's go for this one first. As I said, I just want to read the first couple of trivia, and we'll also take a look at, let's see here. I want to take a look at Barbara Luna as Marlena. Yeah, definitely want to take a look at her. She's a big, major star in this. Okay, so the director of this episode was Mark Daniels, and Gene Roddenberry and Jerome Bixby were the writers. And like I said, it featured the usual cast of characters: Shatner, Nimoy, DeForest Kelley, uh, James Doohan, Scotty, George Takei, Nichelle Nichols, and yeah, we looked at Vic Perrin already, so that was cool. Let's see. Yeah, and Walter Koenig. And of course, John Winston is Lieutenant Kyle. Okay. But the one person we do want to look at is Barbara Luna, so we will take a look at her. Okay. All right, let's take a look at trivia. Okay. It took about a month to complete this particular episode. After filming had begun, Barbara Luna was diagnosed with strep throat. Since the script called for Captain Kirk to kiss her, they had to postpone the kissing scene for 3 weeks until she was medically cleared, since they couldn't risk William Shatner getting infected. Amen to that. In Jerome Bixby's original outline, the Mirror Universe Federation was not evil, but simply backwards in terms of some technology, notably phaser weapons. Initially, Mirror Kirk was to be married to a nurse on board the Parallel Enterprise, and Mirror Spock was more Vulcan in temperament. In addition, McCoy's counterpart, and not that of Spock, was to be bearded. Star Trek was actually not allowed to show women's navels, but Uhura's navel is visible in the Mirror Universe. Reportedly, this was accomplished by filming while a personal assistant took the Standards representative to lunch. This is a popular myth in Star Trek, but it is untrue. By the fall of 1966, the networks had removed this prohibition from their standards. In fact, Star Trek had already done this, as seen at the end of season one's Shore Leave, when McCoy shows up with the two women by his side, both of whom had exposed navels. Besides, Uhura is seen several times with her bare midriff, and they would have never asked the problem or never risked the problem of doing this if it meant reshooting all of the scenes she appeared in. Okay. In the wake of this episode, a group of child fans started a neighborhood wide letter campaign suggesting that the concept of a captain's woman be carried over into the series as a whole, and requesting that Stephanie Powers be cast in that role. Eventually, Gene Roddenberry's assistant had to write to the group's two ringleaders, telling them to ask their parents exactly what a captain's woman was. To further denote the inverted nature of the parallel universe, phasers are worn upside down on the left hip. Cool. All right, let's see. All right, we just have two spoilers. Along with the Trouble with Tribbles in 1967's episode, Mirror Mirror provided footage for the Star Trek 30th Anniversary mashup tribute, Trials and Tribulations, specifically the end, where the new lieutenant brings a report to Kirk, with Ben Sisko being CGI'd into Marlena Moreau's place. Oh, cool. In this original episode, the mirror universe differences apparently only apply to humans, as the Vulcan is still rational and logical, and the Hulkans are still pacifist. Well, at least have no interest in being vessels of the Empire. This was not the case, however, in the Mirror Universe episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine from 1993. Cool. All right, so yeah, we said we would skip the goofs and the quotes. Let's take a look at soundtrack here. All right, and it's still the music that's credited to Alexander Courage and the lovely Luli Jean Norman who does a yeah, that. Okay. All right, let's like I said, we're gonna look at Barbara Luna, our main uh, person there. Okay, and it looks like pleasantly she's still alive. That's awesome. All right, so she was born March 2nd. She did have a birthday. She's an actress, producer. She also does soundtrack. She also was in a brief show here. It says, so that's who it was in 1958. Okay. Barbara Ann Luna was born in Manhattan, New York, and virtually grew up on Broadway. Her Italian, Hungarian, Spanish, Portuguese, and Filipino background, wow, has led her to portray a variety of roles. Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein II, or Hammerstein if you want to be technical, cast her in the Broadway hit musical South Pacific as Nagana, which was spoken entirely in French. When she outgrew her sarong, Luna, as she prefers to be called, was cast again by Rodgers and Hammerstein in The King and I, when the show was closing after many years later. Then Luna moved on. Okay. All right, so as well as doing Marlena in Star Trek, she was in a movie called The Devil at 4 O'Clock, where she played Camille, and that was in 1961. In 1965, later on, she did Ship of Fools, where she played Amparo. Amparo? Okay. Amparo. Amparo. Okay. And in 1986, for 1 year to 87, she did appear in the soap opera One Life to Live as Maria Roberts. She was in that for 8 episodes. That is cool. Alrighty. Now, the last thing she worked in as herself is a movie called Unbelievable! Like five exclamation points. That was in 2020. And before that, she was in a TV series called The Sandra West Diaries in 2016. She did one episode of Sue Muru, and that was season one, episode two's uh, episode called Bullets Don't Argue. That was in 2016. Okay. So that is the mini bio of Miss Barbara Luna, or as she likes to be called, Luna. Now, here's a little bit of trivia. Barbara Luna, I believe, does have a daughter, so I'm going to see if I can find her information on that. Take a look down here. Family. Okay. Oh, she has no children. Well, there you go. So that wasn't that. I don't think that's true though, because what I heard was there was a maybe it was a niece. Well, maybe it was her niece or relative from one of her husbands. She did have 3 husbands, but it says she didn't have any children. That's interesting. Well, anyway, uh, there was a lady that played uh, Marlena in Star Trek Continues. Let me take a look at that on the Fairest of them All episode. I'll see who that was while we're checking here. Okay, Vic Minona. There we are. Okay, so 11 episodes, and we'll take a look here at Fairest of them All. Yeah, Pilgrim Attorney. Fairest of them all. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it was an entirely different lady. Okay. So Asia DeMarcos. She was Marlena Moreau in the alternate universe there. Okay. So, according to IMDb background information, she does not have any ties to Barbara Luna. Okay. So, it was an entirely different actress. Well, we'll get more into her next time when we start doing Star Trek Continues. Yeah, well, you never know. Like, we always thought it was Barbara Luna's daughter, but it's not. It's an entirely different actress. So that at least that it answers some questions that I was, uh, concerned with before. But very cool. Okay, so let's go back to the regular Star Trek here. Alrighty, so let's see here. Going to season 2. Alrighty. Yeah. Mirror, mirror. There we go. Alright, and we looked at Luna. Cool. And soundtrack we did. And of course, yep. Filmed at Desilu Studios there in Culver City, California. And the dates they filmed the episode was from July 25th, 1967 to August 1st, 1967. Very cool. Alrighty then. So let's get back to the next episode here, which is The Apple, episode 5. And that episode was directed by Joseph Pevney and written by Gene Roddenberry, Max Ehrlich, and Gene L. Kuhn. And the regular cast of characters. And we're going to look at 2 people. One of them a yeoman. Yeoman Martha Landon, played by Celeste Yarnell. And we will also look at Keith Andis, who was Akuda. And we will look at David Soul, who, as most of you know, appeared with, Paul Michael Glazier on Starsky and Hutch. But he was in this episode. He played Makora. So we will look at him too. 3 of those people. All right. And let's see who we got in the chat before we continue with that next episode. Of course, we have Jeff B. Thank you, Jeff. Moonpie and Deja Vu's mom. Hi, Jeff. Thanks, babe. Jeff B says, great name, Suze. Aw, that's so cute. And hello, brother Curtis Selby. He's the tired midnight blogger and the voice of Northern Oklahoma. Welcome, welcome, Curtis. He says, hello, Jeff. Hello, Moonpie. And he says, hey, Curtis, good stream and great movies the other day. Yes, sir. Curtis, I would love to join you. Let me know when you're starting to do that thing with, Pleasant Valley Picker with our other brother there regarding Dark Shadows when Jonathan Frid first appears in the series. Yeah, please let me know because I would love for the 3 of us to do it. I watched it as a little kid and I did remember a lot of those episodes. So please make sure we do that together if we can. If we can. I don't want to force anything. But if we can, let me know, Brother Curtis. And then we got 5 likes. That is so awesome. So thank you. The 3 people watching. Alrighty. So let's just get to the trivia here of the Apple and then just the production times. And then we'll look at the, like I said, the 3 actors that were in this episode. Okay. Chekhov's first name, Pavel, is established in this episode when his love interest, Yeoman Landon, calls him Pav. Actress Celeste Yarnell, who played Yeoman Martha London. Is it Landon or London? I don't know. Some of this information sometimes. Let's just call her Yeoman Martha. Okay? Does that work? That works. Okay. So, said it took a while to film the scene where she asked how the planet's inhabitants would do it after Vol is destroyed because William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, and DeForest Kelley kept making up hilarious methods for procreating. Network censors were on set, and Yarnell said they were getting upset, which made everyone laugh more. Spock's appearance is jokingly compared to Satan in the final scene. This resemblance caused discomfort to would-be advertisers when Star Trek was first being marketed. Walter Koenig, who plays Chekhov, seems to have discarded the wig he used in his earlier episodes. Since his own hair was now long enough, it was not necessary for him to wear it anymore. Well, you know why he did it, because of the Beatles, right? So, the mop tops at that time. Leonard Nimoy kept playing practical jokes on Celeste Yarnold during filming. In an interview, she said that she was terrified every time she saw him coming because she had no idea what he might do. Bad, Nimoy, bad! Very bad. Okay, and let's go ahead and put your hands over those ears, people, because we have 3 spoilers we want to talk about on this particular episode. If you haven't seen it yet, and I don't know why you haven't yet, because I'm thinking, where's that cave you live in? Can I destroy it so you can come out of that cave and start watching these great shows? Anyway, here's the first spoiler. Okay, originally the script for this installment called for Vol's stone dinosaur head to be destroyed by Enterprise's phasers. The props department had put in a lot of work creating it with paper mache and refused to allow its destruction. In the security guard and red shirt casualties, there were 4. Okay? At the end, when Kirk advises the villagers that they are free of Vol and now have the right of autonomy, there is no mention of retribution for the crewmen killed during the villagers' attack, likely because they are a gentle, childlike people who were simply beguiled by Vol in obeying a command. Well, still doesn't explain why you killed people. Okay. All right, and of course the theme song. And let's see here. Da da da. Da 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 da. Okay. All right. And of course, the film dates for this episode were July 14th, 1967 to July 24th, 1967 at Desilu Studios there in Culver City, California. So it took 10 days to make this episode. And yet it's a crappy one. Go figure, right? Don't know sometimes. All right. All right, let's first take a look then at Keith Andis, who played Akura, or Akuda. See, my eyesight is going bad. Okay, Akuda, A-K-U-T-A. Okay, go look at Keith. All right, unfortunately, we did lose, shirtless Keith. Okay, some portraits they show here. IMDb. Okay, younger Keith. Anyway, he died in 2005. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Keith. He was an actor. He also worked on soundtrack. He was born, 1950s and 60s. Second lead actor, Keith Andis, fits into the tail or fits into the tall, handsome, strapping, and highly virile mold that encompassed the likes of George Nader, Guy Madison, and Jeffrey Hunter. Although he may not be as well remembered as the aforementioned actors, he did manage to maintain a reliable career on radio from age 12, and then he did stage, TV, and films for over 3 decades. He was born July 12th, 1920. He died November 11th, 2005. He was 85 years old. So, a good life for that guy. All right. So, besides this episode of Star Trek, he was in the movie Tora, Tora, Tora. And that, he played General George C. Marshall in 1970. He also, way back in 1949, appeared in Project X as Steve Monahan. And then in 1952, he was in Clash by Night. And his role in that was Joe Doyle. And then uh, a movie called And Justice for All, which is a great movie, in 1979, he appeared as Marvin Bates in that movie. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, the last thing he worked on in 1980 was Blinded by the Light. Yeah, just like the song. It was a TV movie. He played Father Adam. And before that, he did one episode of Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. He was Darius in that TV series. And that came from season 1, episode 20, called Buck's Duel to the Death. Very cool. All right. So that was Keith Anders. Great. Alrighty then. So let's take a look at our next person, Celeste Yarnell. All right. And yes, we did lose Celeste back in 2018 as producer and actress. She was in a TV movie, I think it was called The Green Girl in 2014. Anyway, Celeste Yarnell was an amazing woman of many talents who had been very successful in a diverse number of fields. There appeared to be nothing she couldn't do when she put her mind to it. Apart from her initial career as model, spokesperson, and actress, Celeste has also managed several talented screenwriters, segued into the commercial real estate business, became a championship Tonkinese cat breeder, ran her own successful company, hosted a radio show, produced a how-to video, and regularly other things. She was born July 26, 1944. She did die October 7th, 2018, at the age of 74. So it looks like she had a pretty good life. Okay, so other than being Yeoman Martha Landon, Landon, in this Star Trek episode, The Apple, she was in a movie called Fatal Beauty back in 1987, where she played Laura. Then she was in a movie called Live a Little, Love a Little. She played the role of Ellen from 1968. And then in 1972, on the Sunday night movie thing, she was in Macmillan and Wife in an episode of that TV series, where she played Miss Jones. And that was from season 2, episode 4. It was called Terror Times 2. Cool. Miss Jones. All right. And it says here she also appeared as herself in the this must have been a documentary called Unbelievable, because Barbara Luna was in that too in 2020. And then she played herself in 2012 in a movie called Elvis Found Alive. Oh, cool. And then in 2007, I also want to mention she was in that Alan Ruck and Nichelle Nichols and Chekhov, Walter Koenig. They were in that Star Trek of Gods and Men, fan film. She played special wedding guest in that video from 2007. That's so cool. Alrighty. So that was Celeste Yarnall. Oh, look at how she spurns Chekhov. Pavel. Ah, boy. Pavel didn't know what he was losing. Anyway. Okay. And we'll look at David Soul here, last but not least today. All right. Yeah, we just lost him last year in 2024. He was actor, director, producer. Let's see. He was in a movie back in 1994 featuring Dolph Lundgren called Pentathlon. And David Soul achieved pop icon status as handsome, blonde-haired, blue-eyed detective Kenneth Hutchinson on the cult buddy cop TV series Starsky and Hutch from '75. Soul also had a very successful singing career, recording several albums with worldwide #1 hits including Silver Lady and Don't Give Up on Us Baby. And he was born August 28th, 1943. He died January 4th last year at the age of 80, 2024. Okay. And he came back and reprised his role as the original Hutch in that uh, reboot of the series in 2004, which featured Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson, where Soul came back as original Hutch, and then on the original Starsky and Hutch series from 1975 to 79, and he worked alongside Paul Michael Glazer. He did that for 92 episodes. Very cool. Now, he also appeared, before he did that, he appeared in that Clint Eastwood film, Magnum Force. You know, the one with Dirty Harry in it? Yeah. He played Davis, and that was in 1973. And then, remember, he also came back in Salem's Lot, which was a TV miniseries. And he played Ben Mears in that. And, right, part one and two. So, very cool. Salem's Lot. Yeah. Okay. And the very last thing he worked on before he passed, uh, it was a movie called Filth, Filth, in 2013. And in that, he played a punter, or maybe that was his name, Punter. But that was the last thing he actually did. So, all right. So that was the career of David Soul. Very cool. Alrighty. Well, that is the end of our day today, folks, for both Red Dwarf and TOS. And next week we will be covering episodes 6 and 7. And those episodes are The Doomsday Machine, which PvP and I and Sif Dan covered. The Doomsday Machine from October 20th, 1967. And then episode 7 is going to be Cat Spa. You know, those magicians and the woman that turns into a cat from October 27th, 1967. So those will be our next two episodes. Next week, as well as I said with Red Dwarf, we'll be covering the last two episodes of season 12, episodes 5 and 6, and we'll be covering the one and only last episode from season 13. And that should be it. Okay, so that's next week. Very cool. Alrighty. And let's check out the rest of the chat. So let's see here. Yeah, Jeff B said Barnabas Collins. Yeah. And Jeff B says a vampire soap opera. Definitely out of the box thinking. Oh, yeah. Dark Shadows was awesome. And Curtis says, oh, he loved Buck Rogers. I did too, sir. Yeah, it's just a shame with, Gil Gerard. It didn't quite work out. I felt bad. Well, you know what it was? It was the second season. There were two seasons, right? And the second season, they went out on that ship called the Searcher. That immediately just destroyed it. Yeah, stay back on Earth. You don't need to do anything else. But they flew out there on the Searcher. Okay. You know what? Yeah. Beep. What's up, Buck? Yeah, exactly. From Jeff B. And Curtis is laughing. Jeff B says, since Mikey reads all the chats, I wanted him to try that, Curtis. Yes. Yeah. That's very cool. What's up, Buck? Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, but I can't. You know what? The master of that was Mel Blanc. Okay, Felix Silva might have been like stood in there inside the tweaky outfit, but Mel Blanc was the voice. Yeah. So I'm not a very good Mel Blanc impersonator. Sorry. That's all, folks. Yeah, exactly. Hey, but thank you, Jeff. Thank you for allowing me to try that. Thank you. Okay, so like I said, we've got 5 likes. We got 2 people still watching our show today. So thank you so much for doing that. All right, so you know what episodes we're covering next week. Our final 3 episodes of Red Dwarf, our next 2 episodes from season 2 in brief detail of TOS. So we will cross those off here, and we are done for today. Very cool. All right. So tomorrow, of course, as you know, we'll be doing 2 episodes of Get Smart from season 2, and from season 4, we've got 2 more episodes left, going of the A Team, my favorite series of all time. I did understood. Yes, I did. You're welcome, Jeff. Curtis says I'm heading out. I'm gonna do an episode of The Voice of Northern Oklahoma in about an hour. Cool. I'll try to look for that, Curtis. Thank you. I'll keep you. Okay, I'll keep you on in the background while I prep. Okay, cool. Very cool. All right, sir. Yeah, well, I'm already done. So you go ahead and do your show there, Curtis. I'll try to catch it. If I don't catch it initially, I will catch it on a rewatch. I will be there for you. Don't worry. I'll say hello. I'll make it. I'll make it a true MikeySuzeFour raid, and we'll just go from there. Okay, we'll just do that. All right. So let me take my hat off because we're gonna go ahead and do a prayer. So, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, dear Lord, thank you so much for all of our friends, family, and relatives that we know here on the MikeySuzeFour channel and on all of our live streams and webcam and podcast shows that we do. Uh, we're always saying prayers for everyone that we know, all 282 family subscriber members to this channel. We all love you. We all care about you guys and gals, and hope that everything goes well in your lives. We do have special prayers out. We do have Matt Arnold, whose best friend is going through stage 4 terminal cancer. We also have our best friend Jay, who, along with his wonderful partner Nikki's going through the same thing. So we got special prayers out for both of them. Also, my special friend who I've known for 50 years, Mr. Larry of Be Yourself Adventures. He's going through some surgeries. Later this month, he's going to go through a very difficult surgery with his heart. We want to make sure he gets out of there okay and fine, and no, uh, fallbacks, no, uh, you know, extenuating circumstances, setbacks. We just want to make sure he gets out of there okay, that he gets to rest finally, he gets to relax, not have to push himself too hard, and we hope that he can make that wonderful trip he wants to take before he goes, of Route 66. So we hope he can do that. Okay. And of course, I'm praying for my beautiful wife, Suzanne, first and foremost. I know she's got to still talk to her doctor about her knees, both of them, because there's no cartilage left in them. So she's got to get those worked on. And of course, her shoulder. But I don't think her shoulder is mendable, but we'll see. There's always miracles. I pray for miracles, I always get them. So I know something can be done. So, okay. And of course, last but not least, our friend Jay, who's in Louisiana, along with his wonderful partner, Leanna. Okay. So please watch over Jay there as well. He's going through his own medical issues. So we'll make sure everybody else is doing okay there in their relationship. So. And one last thing, Lord, please, I want you to pray for both Gorilla and his new girlfriend, Kayla. They just met each other. They're starting to mesh. They're starting to get to know each other better. I want them both to succeed. Suzanne and I do. So please, Lord, if it's your will, allow them both to have a good life with no problems, no repercussions, and no tragedies. So please help them both. That would be wonderful. And of course, I want to thank Curtis Selby and Jeff B. For both being here. And of course, my beautiful wife, Moon Pies, and Deja Vu's mom, who is supervising the chat for for Lemon Pie and for our wonderful friend Connie Cleary. We're both managing moderators to the chat. So we want to thank my wife for helping out today. And like I said, Curtis and Jeff for being here. Thank you guys. It means the world. Thank you so much for being here. So with 5 likes, we got one person still watching. Very awesome. All right. So for all those prayers we ask, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen. So, okay. So as we always say, my wife says, leave everything in God's hands. Great piece of advice. Also, uh, my awesome friend Larry, who says, always be yourself. Mm-hmm. Can't say more than that. That usually works the best. And of course, I like to say here, always expect the unexpected for MikeySuzeFour. That's my own personal thing. And of course, the one that we're allowed to quote from that wonderful guy, Gene Siskel, way back in the 80s and 90s, who did Siskel and Ebert at the movies, he always said, and now the aisle is closed. So thank you to the Gene Siskel Family Foundation for allowing me to use that phrase. It may not be the exact one, but at least you allowed me to use it, and I appreciate that. So thank you so much. Okay. And of course, he worked for the Chicago Tribune. He was my favorite nerd. He had the glasses, he had everything. He sold it. He was the only reason I watched. I was not into Roger Ebert, the big guy. No, 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 no. I was into Gene. Gene was the man. He was exactly like me as growing up as a kid, just missing the glasses and stuff like that. But he knew a lot. Yeah, it was cool. It's cool. All right. So, God bless America. God bless Canada. God bless England and our wonderful friends there, as well as our best friend Lisa H. Lisa, Travel with Lisa MH is her channel. Please check it out on YouTube. Also, hopefully, we'll get to see Lisa hearts hearts up here. In September of this year. Maybe you might be able to come with us, me, Suzanne, and Suzanne's best friend Scotty, and the four of us could go and celebrate my birthday. Big 6-0, mid September. It'll be an event whenever it happens. So we'll see we'll see how that goes. So Lisa, we love you. Take care of yourself there in Suffolk with your dad and everything. And of course, God bless this world we live in. Because we only have one. So please take care of it, but don't piss off Mother Nature. Okay? She's thrown some earthquakes our way, volcanoes, tsunamis, tornadoes, anything. So yeah, don't piss her off. Okay. And of course, peace from MikeySuzeFour. So on behalf of my beautiful wife Suzanne, our beautiful cats, this beautiful one down here, Miss Smooth Pie. I love you so much, my big little baby. Oh, well, you're welcome. You can pat at me with your front tail or front paw bit. There you go. And of course, our beautiful Deja Vu. We want to thank all of you for being here. We will see you again tomorrow. Like I said, for the 2 episode reviews that we do for Get Smart, and of course, the greatest TV series ever created, The A-Team. So make sure you all come down to visit us at 12 noon, straight up Eastern, for that tomorrow. Alrighty. We love you guys and gals. Take care of yourselves. Please have a great rest of the week and a good weekend on top of that. And like I said, we'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday afternoon. I can't even see Moody Blues anymore. See you folks then. And God bless.